What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Trash Talkin'. All right, today we're going to talk about the monstrosity, which is All-Star Weekend. All right, and I'm going to go day by day, event by event, excluding the celebrity game because that doesn't really count. So, starting off with the Rising Stars game, I like the format. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's very entertaining. I think it's awesome to see a bunch of different teams go at it in a tournament style, and I think it's just very, very fun to watch and to play. And you actually have guys wanting to win there and wanting to prove themselves. I think the G League squad did incredible. I think a bunch of those guys are going to be offered some NBA contracts or be able to declare for the draft. I know the Raptors are looking at a guy there, and it'll be good. But overall, it was just, a fun game. It's very different from the full game, but I like it, and it's very good. Next up, we have the skills competition, which I like, but it's a little confusing. I remember they did the team thing back in the day. I remember there was one time a team of like Chris Bosh, a WNBA player, and Dominique Wilkins, and I was like making half-court shots, three-point shots, a layup. It was fun. It was fun, but I really enjoyed the 1v1 style of things, how they're going at the same time and have to make that half-court shot, whatever. I thought it was great. And I feel like they should continue to do that. The team thing is cool. It gives that city their own team, right? They did like Team Utah. They did Team Indiana. And I think it's a very cool idea that they can do that and put players from different teams like the first overall pick squad or the all-star squad. I think it's very fun and very entertaining. But it's just confusing at the end of the day. And I feel like they could do a lot of things to change it. But I feel like going back to that 1v1 style, like the big men versus guards, that was so sick. And you end up getting a big man versus a guard in the final. I feel like that's very, very entertaining. Next up, the three-point contest. Highlight of All-Star Weekend, night 2. Had 4 players with 26. Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Trae Young, with Damian Lillard coming out on top with getting 26 again in the final round. Was honestly great, and I was on the edge of my seat watching everything. I didn't expect that many players to do that well. A lot of guys in the 20s, so it was honestly an incredible thing to watch. Speaking about three-pointers, Sabrina versus Steph. So I'm a basketball head. I watch anything that has to do with basketball. I will admit I'm slacking a bit on the WNBA side of things, but it was insane. Seeing Sabrina drop 26 just like that is crazy because she did better than half the men did. She's a sniper, no doubt. One of the greatest shooters, but she said it herself. Steph is up there. Steph went ahead and dropped 29. I will say that belt, that three-pointer GOAT belt, whatever it is, sucked. Like, you're one of the richest organizations to ever exist, and you give them a belt with like a little printout on it. That was just gross. I will say it did undermine Damian Lillard's performance a little bit, but overall it was fun and it was a great watch. Now on to the dunk contest. I could say with full confidence that the dunk contest was ass. Like, it sucked. Like, it sucked. I've seen people say to replace it with a 1v1, and I think that'd be great. But I also feel like the reason that the dunk contest is doing so bad is because they no longer have any big-name guys in it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, back in the day, you had Michael Jordan. You had Dr. J. You had all these crazy elite Dominique Wilkins, guys that could dunk, but also, play the game of basketball, that were actually involved in the All-Star game doing the dunk competition. And I feel like the reason guys like Ja, Zion, Anthony Edwards are not doing it is because of LeBron James. Don't get me wrong, LeBron James is the greatest player to ever play basketball, but the fact that he said no to the dunk contest gives other players excuses to do that. Anthony Edwards said, if LeBron James didn't have to do it, then I don't have to do it. It gives other players excuses not to be in the dunk competition, which makes it less exciting. We could see a guy who's a no-name go out there and do some insane things, and we'd be like, because he's a no-name, right? The only other guys that came in that were electrifying to us, that weren't all-stars or really good at the time, were Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. You're not going to get guys like that anytime soon. The only guys you have like that are Ja, Zion, Anthony Edwards, etc. So you got to get those guys in these dunk competitions. I respect Jaylen Brown for going out there, but the fact that Jaylen Brown can't dunk over Kai Cenat in a seat is insane. What does Shannon Sharp say? He's like, what, 1'5" in the seat? Come on. Mac McClung's jumping over Shaq. I remember a while ago, Ben McLemore is jumping over Shaq in a throne. You have Mac McClung jumping over 2 guys. Aaron Gordon jumping over Taco Fall. It's like, come on, right? It's outrageous. It's actually stupid to watch the game. So I feel like if they were to replace it with a 1v1, it would be fun, right? Because then you have a bunch of guys going at it just like street ball. One shot, whatever you want to do, whatever rules you say it is. Make it street ball and a little bit of a tree or a bracket, whatever you want to say. Get some of the best big name 1v1 guys like Kyrie, like Jalen Brunson, some of the guys that can play 1v1 basketball extremely well, some of these big ISO guys, and get them to go one-on-one, man. Guards, you could have a guard bracket, you could have a big bracket, you could have it, man. It would be really fun to watch. It would be actually extremely entertaining. But the other solution is just get a damn star in that All-Star game. Get guys that are in the All-Star game dunking in the dunk contest. The G League dunk competition was incredible this year. I watched it. It was 10 times better than the normal one, man. And there was like half, not even, like an eighth of the people there. You know, people come to see these guys go crazy. And the fact that they're just doing things that have already been done or just going, like, of course, don't get me wrong. I can't dunk, okay? I can barely call myself amazing at the game of basketball. But let's get serious here, man. It's just unentertaining. You want to make money? You want to entertain the fans? That's not the way to do it. You got to switch. You got to switch to it. Moving on to the All-Star game, I'm finally happy that the East won, and it's cool that they got 211 points. But the All-Star game is just boring. It's just boring. Don't get it, like, twisted. It's great to see the players go out there and enjoy themselves and have their fun, but it's not competitive. I remember in 2020, the first year they did the new Kobe rule and all that stuff. It was sick. You had Kyle Lowry taking charges. You had a freaking nail-biter game. Sadly, it ended in a free throw. But it was an incredible, 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 incredible game. I remember Kobe said on the Knuckleheads podcast, it was like 2019, and he said it's not competitive anymore. It's not fun. He said guys at UCLA play more competitive pickup games. And it's true. You have the greatest players in basketball, some in basketball history, going at it head-to-head, and they're just letting each other score? You have some of the best defenders in the league, and they're just letting each other score? The first quarter looked good, or maybe first half. Steph Curry had a big block. But it's like, come on, man. It's just not fun anymore. And I think the solution to make it more competitive is to do like an in-season tournament thing and just give them an incentive to win. Give them a cash prize or give their team an advantage or something like that. So I know MLB, they do like home advantage in the playoffs. It's like, why can't they get home court advantage if they win the All-Star game, the East and the West, right? Something for their team, something for them individually, right? Give like of course there's bonuses for being an All-Star and stuff like that, but they should do the winner of the All-Star game gets this said bonus. You seen how hard people were playing in that in-season tournament? How crazy guys were going? How guys like the Indiana Pacers, who have a bunch of guys making under $5 million, wanted that 100-something thousand, right? I feel like if they were to implement a rule that said, yo, if your team wins, each and every one of you gets however many $1,000, a milli, like whatever it is. The NBA has money to spend. Because they'll just make it all back in the ratings. You're going to have so many people viewing that All-Star game. If I see the All-Star game, I'm like, yo, this game's actually looking competitive. I'm telling each and every single one of my friends, we're streaming it together, we're watching it separately, whatever it is. They're getting their watch hours up. Because it's more competitive. I'm sick and tired of the All-Star game just being lousy. It's been happening for too many years now, man. It's not fun to watch anymore. It's cool to see guys pull up from half court and do these crazy East Bay dunks in game, but it's like, come on. It's just not fun to watch anymore. There's been times where it's been, you know, they've been fooling around and stuff like that, but it's still been fun to watch. But you're like letting Jokic and Luka just pass back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, layup. You know, it's like, we want to see entertaining basketball. We want to see the best players in the world go head-to-head. We want to see some of these top 50, top 75 guys of all time just kill each other, man. What happened to Damian Lillard breaking Kobe's nose? And I'm not saying, oh, go out there and hurt each other. Go out there and get fouls. I'm just saying, go out there, have your fun, but play basketball and play it well. There hasn't been a 10 out of 10 All-Star weekend in so long. The last one for me is Toronto in 2016. Like a 10 out of 10 weekend. That's including the Rising Stars game. That's including the 3-point and the dunk contest, skills competition, and the game. I loved everything about that All-Star weekend. Call me biased, because I'm Canadian. I was watching, I was like, oh my god, the NBA's in Toronto. I felt sick. Right? But then if not that, then you could say 2020, because that All-Star game was incredible. But I feel like there's just losing out on the competitive aspect of it, man. It just makes it sucks. It sucks. You almost have 400 points scored in that game. Come on, man. I'd rather the score be 98 to 97 than 211 to whatever the West had. I really would, because that means defense is getting played. That means it's a tight game of basketball. That means it's entertaining and fun. Say if the East was up by like 30 and the West somehow was like, you know what, let's get serious. Let's have a comeback. That would have been entertaining. But they're not making it entertaining. Stupid. It was infuriating to watch. I saw it until like the third quarter. I'm like, forget it. I'm turning it off. Just started talking with a man at my church because I really don't want to waste my time watching this. Right? I'm not gonna put it on my phone and waste my data just to watch a crappy game. It's not fun to watch anymore. And the NBA needs to do a lot of things to revamp it. And I feel like there are solutions that they can be taking, but they're just ignoring them because they just want to stick to what's always been. So hey, man. NBA, this is a call out, man. You have reporters on national television. You have people criticizing it all over the world. Tee up and fix your game.